Hello everybody, today's story is from Brazil in South America and it's called
The Party in the Sky.
Read by a half-awake mops.
Toad didn't always look the way he does now, with lumps and bumps all over his body. There was a time when Toad had smooth skin and considered himself very handsome. In those days, all he thought about was going to parties and having a good time. Whenever Toad heard that a party was being planned, no matter how far away, he got himself invited. One day, Toad overheard a pair of flamingos talking about a party that was going to be held in the sky. "That sounds fun," said Toad. "Will you ask if I can go too?" The flamingos agreed, and a few days later an invitation arrived for Toad. His friend Armadillo saw the invitation and was puzzled. "How will you get to a party in the sky?" she asked. Toad smiled. "I'll find a way," he said. The next day, Toad went to visit Buzzard, who lived nearby, and found him playing his violin. Buzzard seldom had any visitors, so he was surprised to see Toad. "Good day, Buzzard," said Toad. "Are you going to the party in the sky?" "Yes," said Buzzard. "All the birds are invited." "Well, I'm invited too," said Toad. "Maybe we can go together." Buzzard was pleased that Toad wanted his company. "All right," he said. "What time shall we leave?" "Come to my house at 4 o'clock," said Toad, "and bring your violin. Everyone loves music at a party." On the day of the party, Buzzard arrived at Toad's house carrying his violin case. However, Toad said that he wasn't quite ready. "Leave your violin outside by the door and come in for a moment," he said. Buzzard put down his violin and followed Toad inside. But while Buzzard waited for him to get ready, Toad climbed out of the back window and hopped round to the front door and hid himself inside the violin case. Buzzard waited and waited. He called out to Toad, but there was no reply. Eventually he gave up. He fetched his violin, grumbling that Toad was most unreliable, and flew off to the party in the sky. When he arrived at the party, Buzzard laid down his violin and went to find something to eat. Out hopped Toad, laughing at his trick. Soon Toad was having lots of fun. Buzzard was astonished to find him singing and dancing. "How did you get here?" he asked. Toad just chuckled. "I'll tell you one day," he said. Toad had a wonderful time, but Buzzard didn't enjoy the party. Nobody wanted to hear him play or dance with him, so he went home early, quite forgetting about the violin. At the end of the party, weary Toad climbed into the violin case and waited to be carried home, but nothing happened. He began to get worried. "I wish I'd never come so far away from home," he whimpered. Then Falcon noticed the violin case. "That belongs to Buzzard," he said. "I'll take it to him." At last Toad felt himself carried through the sky, but Falcon was also weary after all the dancing. "Oh, this violin is heavier than it looks," he puffed. "Why should I bother with it? Buzzard is no friend of mine." So he let the violin drop, and down to earth it fell. Toad peered out in alarm, calling for the stones below to get out of the way, but they had deaf ears, and the violin crashed to the ground and splintered into 100 pieces. Buzzard never knew what happened to his violin, but Toad is still covered in bumps and bruises and is quite gone off parties.
Thank you everybody.
Bye everyone.
Bye.